Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for the fourth installment of Outlands RoyalTea. Our very special guest today is Her Grace Slaine. And thank you for coming on the show today. I'm so glad to have you, and I'm really looking forward to the next hour where you're going to tell us amazing stories about the last two times you sat on the throne. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to say no to their Royal Majesty. So. And I probably won't tell all the stories because I invited my mom to watch.
Okay. So, Duchess Slaine, you are a knight in your own right. You are Pelican. You're an amazing overall person. So I was very excited to have you today. And so I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. So do you know, so tell us about your first reign, who your fighter was, your champion. How long ago was your first reign?
Oh, a long time ago. My first reign was 13 years ago.
Okay.
And His Grace Alric fought for me. My champion was His Grace Rorik. That's back when we fought, when the tournament was fought.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a long time ago. Certainly learned a lot during that reign.
What were some of your biggest takeaways? So when you first reigned, were you already a knight?
When I first reigned, I had an AOA and a Stag's Blood.
Okay.
That was all I had.
Okay. So you said back then we were still fighting a tournament to determine the Queen's champion?
Uh-huh.
And how about rapier? Do you remember who your rapier champion was?
It was Don Angus from up north. I'll tell you a funny story about that later.
Okay. Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll start with funny stories. We were at an after revel, so there might have been a little bit of drinking, but not a whole lot, Mom, if you're watching. And someone accused me of being drunk. And I said, I'm not drunk. And he said, you're a liar. And Angus punched him out.
Oh my God.
I was like, yeah, that's what a defender does. So that was eye-opening. And then I realized maybe don't tell on people when you're the queen necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, rapier people, they don't mess around when the queen's involved.
They definitely took it serious.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what were some of the biggest takeaways that you learned from your first reign? And you were like, if I ever do this again, I'm going to do this different.
Okay, so after my first reign, I said I would never do it again. There was, you definitely realized that people aren't as nice as you thought. I was pretty naive. I had avoided politics. I was a stick jock. I didn't do anything but fight for the most part. And it was hard on us. We were both squires. We had 2 AOAs and a Stag's Blood between us. And we were Brotherhood of the Bengal, which we didn't know. People didn't like us because no one played at the time, so we didn't get filled in on all the stories. So it was hard. We stepped up and knew nothing. And then we saw the majority of a kingdom pull together to help us look good and to keep us from, it might have been only to not embarrass the kingdom. I don't know how many people were actually doing it for us, but we definitely learned quickly what goes into running the kingdom, and it's not just a pretty face, for sure.
Yeah. So during your first reign, were you Estrella queen?
I was.
Okay, so you've been Estrella queen twice.
Yes.
That's a lot of work.
Yes.
I know that you have a very big role in the Estrella War. So I know particularly because I was around for your last reign, how that impacted the war. I mean, What is it, and what was your experience like being Estrella Queen?
The first time I was still involved with the setup, but the first time we were queen, it was my first year in an official capacity, and I was the deputy land coordinator for the Outlands, and I was so excited about that. So we went early on, and we didn't realize the animosity that was actually real for some people between the Aidenbelt and the Outlands. And so we got a big dose of, no, we don't actually really like you. And I was like, oh, we're not just pretending. Okay. But it was great. It was being a fighting queen at Estrella when, honestly, before I was queen the first time, I didn't even realize there were things besides fighting, really. And so to be able to stand up there in front of the army was pretty amazing. That was absolutely amazing.
For sure. Awesome. So being a fighter, is it hard for you to let a champion represent you? And did you struggle with like, I can be a fighter right now, but or right now I need to be the queen, and right now I need to not be that fighter who wants to go murder people? Or did you struggle with that at all?
The first time I didn't. The second time, after I was a knight, I thought it was silly to have a champion or a defender, because I was like, here, I'll escort you. How about? So it was different. But the first time I appreciated it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's something that I often find to be so odd. I'll escort you. I'm like, oh, I thought I could have
Cute. Right.
but sure, okay. Okay, so then how did things change? What do you feel like significantly impacted your change to your second reign? Like once you were a knight, so you mentioned a little bit that you really wanted to be out there fighting, and it was the whole escorting and champion thing was weird. What else do you feel like you took away, or what did you bring to the reign being a knight in your own right?
They in the knight circle, they didn't just listen to me to be polite. It was different. Other than I don't think I brought anything more because I was a knight, except I did, because I was a knight. They made the queen's white belt.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you got it in regalia or not. I was going to steal it, but I didn't.
No, I saw it. It was very pretty. Very, very pretty. Do you feel like being a knight and sitting in that circle as queen, did you feel like your words had more weight, or do you feel like they just accepted you more as an equal?
Honestly, I think it's because I was queen. They might have listened to me more, not because I was knighted.
Okay. And then when did you become a Pelican? That was it was after your first reign, but before your second reign, right?
Yes, it was a long time ago. I don't remember. I was still Baroness of Alberon
Okay.
when I got it, and I got it at Battlemore when we held it in July. So somewhere between 2009 and 2011, I became a Pelican.
So about 10 years.
Yeah.
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 Cool. Very cool. So let's see. We have a couple of questions.
We don't answer Kaz's questions.
Oh, you can see them. What is your favorite time in the SCA? And that's from Countess Morgan of Glenavon.
My favorite time, nighttime. I would say at camping events, my favorite time is when there's no longer any responsibilities, when you don't have to be somewhere, you don't have to be doing something, and it's family time or friend time, or both family and friend time. That's my favorite, when you don't have to you don't have to be on your best behavior, when you can be more yourself and be relaxed.
And do you feel like wearing the crown means that you can't necessarily be yourself, that you have to put on this image that's acceptable to everyone?
I don't know that I ever put on an image that was acceptable to everyone. But I will say that there were definitely times when I felt it was important to mute my personality or wear shoes if the occasion called for it.
Yeah, I honestly, like, when you were queen, I always felt like you were 100% you, and that you weren't putting on a persona that sometimes people take on when they're reigning. I always felt like we got slain. So that was something that I thought was very cool.
That's the one thing that I tell anybody that will listen. If you have to be true to you, or you're going to get caught when someone's like, but you act this way. And so if you're just always true to you, try not to be vulgar. Sometimes it happens, try to watch your mouth. You can say bad words, but you don't say them in court, but always you have to stay true to you. People will know if you're not.
For sure. What is the biggest difference between being a landed baronage and being queen? And that's from Duchess Gabriella.
Being queen, everyone loves you because it's only 6 months. And being a landed baroness it's a lot of work. I feel like you're almost more invested because you actually know these people firsthand. You eat with them, you live with them. It's a lot different when award recs come in because you know this person personally, but it also helps because you know them better. You don't ask the lady who is diabetic and gluten-free to run the bake sale. Having an intimate knowledge of the people that you're serving definitely helps.
Yeah. So what inspired you to do a second reign that came from Sir Flanagan?
Oh, thanks, Flanagan. The second reign came about. I'm kind of going to go off on a little story. We were at Outlandish, and there was several dukes and duchesses there, really bugging me because I was only a countess, and I felt like they thought they were slumming because they had to hang out with the fun countess, and they couldn't find any fun graces to go hang out with. And they started threatening to go to West and make me queen without me even being there. And I got a little nervous because it was Duke Ibrahim. I believe Duke Conan was involved. Art, His Royal Majesty Morgan. And I was nervous that they would actually really do that. So I started considering that maybe if I was going to be queen, maybe I would pick who was going to fight and do it in the Outlands and not in the West. And so that's how it came about. And I talked to Rorik about it a little bit. And then I told him, it would probably be a hard sell to my husband. And then my husband came home from work one day and he said, yeah, I told Rorik he could fight for you as long as when he makes you a duchess, he calls you the Red Duchess in front of everyone. And I was like, oh, okay. Then, and that's how that happened.
So neither time you did not reign with your spouse?
No.
So
we work too much.
So do you think that adds an extra layer to a reign where you have to make sure that you're setting aside the time for your family and that you're juggling different things? Or do you feel like it makes it easier not reigning with your spouse because you can have those hard conversations and not be like, oh, great, someone's on the couch tonight?
Yeah, it was, my girls were a big part of both reigns, so I didn't miss them. I missed my husband a lot in the first reign. He was pretty new to working on the movie, so he didn't take time off. But as far as, if you look at it in a grown-up kind of way, you're pulling from two money pools.
Yeah.
So that's nice. It's not all coming from one place, although my husband did pay for it both times. He's such a great guy. But also, like you said, there's not arguments. If there are arguments, it doesn't matter. You don't live together.
Right.
And so it definitely keeps work and fun separate that way.
Yeah. Cool. What do you feel is most different between your two reigns? And that came from Doña Elise.
Definitely, I knew a whole lot more the second reign. After the first reign, I realized that every Lady of the Rose should spend the rest of their SCA career giving back. You have 100 people making you look good at every event, and you should always give back. Make them not feel like it was just for the reign, and make them know that what they did for you made a difference. So I went into the second reign knowing a whole lot more and knowing what actually went into it. And all I have to do is talk in court and smile.
So I know when His Majesty won crown for me, I was told that someone will absolutely blow you away and surprise you with their amazing generosity, and some person will break your heart that you don't expect. So who blew you away with their generosity and just sort of came out of left field and was that amazing moment for you as queen? Either time.
It was my first reign, and it was two people. It was Mistress Bennett and Master Balthazar. Bennett just knew. She knew everything we needed. She knew exactly how to make it happen. She helped keep us from looking like we didn't know what we were doing, even though we didn't. But she took good care of us. And Master Balthazar there was issues before we even had gotten home from the first crown tournament that someone had complained that Alaric had cheated his way through the tournament. And the board person who had called, I guess, contacted Balthazar, and he's like, no, I can send you a video. And so from that minute on, he just had our backs. And those two people, I don't know what would have happened during that reign. And then we also had Bolsov and Astrid and Catherine that were with us in person everywhere, and we couldn't have done it without them. And they were definitely, I knew Bolsov and Astrid and Catherine loved me, but it was awesome to have Bennett and Balthazar.
That's cool.
And no, broke my heart.
Good. What are a few of your favorite gifts that you received as queen? That's from Duchess Gabriella.
Oh my gosh. So many things. I'm going to say this last reign, I got a coat that it is the most amazing thing. And now that my surgical menopause is coming to an end, I'm hoping, and the hot flashes aren't so bad, I'm going to wear it every day. It's wool, like lined with wool. It's really amazing. And that maybe it's because it's the most recent gift, but that's definitely the one. I'm going to take my coronet off.
Okay. Who made your coat?
It was Mary and Caradwin, and I believe they had other help, but those two pretty much put all the work into it and had me come try it on several times, and it was awesome.
Very cool. Let's see, what else? What's your favorite thing to do at Estrella as queen?
Fight.
Fight.
That's my favorite thing. One of the things I love about the Outlands is the queens that fight, whether it's heavy or light. The Outlands always has the strongest, most badass queens. And knowing that the Outlands army is, they say they're rallying behind the king, but they're not. They're rallying behind the queen when she's on the field. Yeah. And as much as the Outlands may not always get along when we're at foreign wars, no one would ever know that. you know, Aidenvelt, hopefully they'll get better and get some better people. I hope Aidenvelt's not watching. I didn't mean the ones that are watching. I love you guys.
That was definitely, so when we were at Estrella this last year and I fought heavy the first day and then I was going to do a rapier the second day, all of my white scarves and my guard said, don't worry, we got rapier. Just go kick ass on the heavy field.
Nice.
Like, okay. And they did a great job. So it was awesome.
Oh, the Outlands always does great on the rapier field at Estrella.
Yeah, for sure. What makes the Outlands unique to you? And that's from Lord Kal-bardr.
Oh, the barefooted heathens, the war drums, the belly dancers that there's no kingdom has dancers that compare to our dancers. No kingdom has the war drums like we do. And they expect us to be barefooted and dirty. So when we are, no one cares.
For sure. So what was different for you during your second reign once rapier had its own peerage? Did that change the way you interacted with them? Did that change the way you interacted with white scarves? Like, was that a noticeable or marketable change from your first reign to your second?
The first reign, I found that nobody could agree on who the next one should be, and there was a big north versus south thing. And then the second reign, it wasn't like that. In the second reign, there were I loved the Master of Defense circles, honestly, because it was so few people, and I got candid answers to my questions. So I really I appreciated that. It was better for me the second reign than the first reign. I hope did you guys notice my name it changed there? I'm trying it out.
Oh, pronounce it for us.
Slaine Sahund.
Sahund.
It means the hound, and I was going to be Slaine the King's Hound, but then I'm going back to having a lot of words like my name now. So I'm trying this one out and see if it works. See if it sticks.
See if it sticks.
I don't even know if it'll pass, but hopefully Harold's watching this and they can tell me.
Right. Apple or bread from Baroness Olivia. I'm assuming you know what that means.
That's nice of her to send that. I'm apple, please. Apple today, not bread.
Okay. And are you going to be Awesome Queen again? That's from Sir Flanagan.
No, probably not. It was, I'm not going to say that being queen's not fun, but it's not for me. I need free time. I feel bad apologizing like at a queen's prize when there's just not enough hours in the day for you to do your meetings and get ready for court and see every entry. And I prefer to be able to have time for everything. And I feel like being queen, you're not getting the best Slaine because I'm on a schedule that's being dictated by someone else. So I'd rather be the best Slaine than be the queen.
I think that there's a lot of times where people think that it's just this super glamorous and you're just, they're being beautiful and that's your main job. And there's just so much more to it than that. So thank you for bringing that up because there's certainly not enough hours in the day to do everything and to make everybody, to give everyone your full attention.
Right.
So that is certainly one of the hardest things is how can I make everybody feel amazing in the 10 seconds that I'm allotted to do so?
Exactly.
So that's a hard challenge. How long have you been in the SCA and how old were you when you first joined? And that's from Monica.
So officially, I have, this last August was 18 years that I've been playing the SCA. I had been to Outlandishes before that, and I had hung out with people who played the SCA, but I didn't really play. Before that, I had armor made, and I fought maybe 10 times, but I don't count me playing the SCA until I moved to Alberon, and that's when I start the count, because that's when the first time I really felt welcomed and loved, and that's when I count from.
Awesome. So you mentioned your girls earlier. As a mother and a knight and a queen and a pelican, what are some of the biggest challenges being a fighter and a mother?
I would love to say that it was challenging, but honestly, I had a household that took care of my children. I'm the first one to say that the village raises the child, and I say that because the village raised my children. They grew up with the freedom from me. I found Cassidy singing for money for lemonade when I was, I think, Baroness. Oh no, I was queen the first time, and someone's all, "Hey, was that your kid singing at Merchant's Row?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably." And so I had members of my household that fed them and bathed them when I was fighting or when I had to be in court, whether as queen or baroness. And then other than that, they were with me. There was, except for fighting, they could go with me anywhere if they wanted to. A lot of times they didn't want to.
Yeah.
I took Cassidy with me because she wouldn't eat. She would only eat chicken nuggets or not take a bath the whole time I was gone if I didn't take her to events. So I took her with me. She was little.
Yeah, it's true. It's a super hard balance for sure. So, what is it like being queen and Estrella main simultaneously? This is from Mistress Nora Rose Tenpenny.
Well, the other mains this last year when I was main and queen, they let me be main until Tuesday morning. So I got to be main for early on, and then they said I couldn't do anything once it started. I couldn't have a radio. And I said, okay. And then the heavens opened up and poured rain for 36 hours. So I did some main things without telling them. I made some executive decisions and told them about them later. But the best part was when the society seneschal is calling me on my cell phone, because I'm the main whose phone number he has, saying, "So I hear there's hail and people are trapped and all this stuff." I'm like, no, it's fine. I said, everybody pull together. Everybody's fine. And then I said, "And how come you have my phone number? Can't you call someone else?" So yeah, most of what I needed to do, being in charge of the site and the contracts and stuff like that, most of my stuff was done and easily taken care of by other mains. So I mostly just got to be the wet queen and not the wet main.
So what was one thing that you did not accomplish as queen that you would reign again to do? And that's from Mistress Aldith.
I don't know that there's anything I didn't accomplish, because I don't think I went into it with an agenda or something to accomplish necessarily. And I think if there was anything that I felt now that I really wanted done, I think I could talk to somebody who was crowned and tell them, this is why I want this done. And then leave it up to them to decide.
What's your best spear kill? And that's from, I'm going to butcher that name.
It's Kaz.
Okay.
Okay, so my best spear kill was, we were at the Clan Wars in Ruidoso, and I was fairly new, and I had huge McBain fear. McBain hit me once in a tournament, and I was like, how am I going to, one, take this late shot as a death, two, forfeit the match without seeming like a crybaby. So I had real McBain pain fear, so to speak. And so we were running backwards up a hill, and I believe it was me and Bolsov or me and Alric, and I'm going backwards, and I have one hand, and McBain's chasing me down, and like I'm positive I peed a little. Like I was really scared. I knew he was going to hit me. I knew I was going to cry. Like I just knew it was going to happen. And I'm backing up, and I'm one armed, and he gets close enough, and I bounce my spear off the ground and hit him right in the lower part of the belly. And he says, Slaine, you made me poop a little. And I was like, yes. Dear diary, that was making me poop a little. And it was, I mean, I had probably only been fighting for about 4 years at the time, and that was my best day ever with the spear.
That's awesome. Why do you prefer spear over glaive? That's from Baroness Olivia.
I fought with the glaive for a year and a half before I ever even looked at a spear. And I fought with a 6-foot glaive, and I could never, one, stay in the back where I was supposed to be in case they came through in the melee. So, so I would get up in the front, and the 9-foot spears would kill me. And I still kept doing it. It wasn't fun. I didn't like not getting to be in the front and get at least some action. But before that, I fought with a sword and a Madu in melees, because whatever. You can see over a Madu. That was so great.
Very cool. So one of the things that I loved that you did when you were queen last time was somebody put out the call that you wanted beads made by the kingdom for your coronation garb. And you ended up with this giant strand of, it was so cool. And I loved the way you incorporated the kingdom artisans and made that such a special thing. What did you do with all of those beads? Did you end up giving those away, or did you end up keeping them?
I kept them.
I
kept them. And honestly, I couldn't find all my stuff today. There's like a whole other piece that goes to this dress, and the only bead strands I had today were my chains, the chain ones, because I don't know where everything is. I packed it all away for COVID, and then I had to make a warehouse in my room, so I had a hard time finding stuff today. But I figured as long as I had a shirt on, we were good. We were good today.
The shirt, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Wait, that was so cool. I'll never forget that. That was so amazing to see, and just it's a huge testament to the love that the kingdom has for you, that you got such a giant response and all of those amazing, beautifully crafted beads that everybody came together to make for you. So that was so cool.
I love the kingdom.
So we were asked recently on the Lockhawk show about what do you think that the Outlands is known for? So what would you say?
I would say, I mean, what I mentioned earlier, war drums, belly dancers, but I think the Outlands, whether it's heavy or light fighting, we're known for our fighters. We can go anywhere and make a difference on whatever field we're fighting on. We, like I said, sometimes we fight amongst ourselves, but when we're somewhere together as a group, like I felt sorry for everybody else at Great Western War last year. For everybody else. I mean, yeah. It was just sad, but I think no matter where we go, we're known for our fighting. We're not necessarily known for having shiny armor or good manners, but Definitely. Oh, we're also pretty good at bringing the party too.
No, it's true. This last Penzic, we had 65 Outlanders. Not obviously not this last Penzic because it didn't happen, but before last, we had 65 Outlanders, and someone said, "How many guys are you fielding?" And I think we had something like 32 guys, and Penzic's very political, and we have this many fighters, and we have this many fighters. I'm like, well, we're bringing 35 Outlanders. And someone was like, yeah. And someone's like, oh, 35 Outlanders. I'm like, yeah, we've got 35 Outlanders.
Exactly. Everybody knows.
Yeah. So we're like, yeah, we're bringing 35 Outlanders. So you tell me where you want us, kind of thing. But yeah, it was definitely Outlanders. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're bringing 35 Outlanders.
It's no secret.
What was your favorite feast that you attended while you were queen? Because you reigned during the feast season, right?
I did. I'm gonna say this last time, because there's a couple. I mean, I went to Hunter's Feast, but we left early because of snow my first reign, and they packed us up food. And then this last time I went to Arkell, and the same thing, I had to leave because I was kind of day tripping, and they sent me home with soup and like my own loaves of bread. And I mean, one, I didn't have to eat it in front of everybody, everyone staring at me. So if there was something I didn't like, I didn't have to continue to eat it. But I liked those two feasts because I got things to go. But Alberon feast, there was, I believe it was Mistress Monica's student who I love, and I don't want to use her real name because I know on the other show you have to drink if you use someone's real name.
I'm not that mean.
Oh, good. Haley made the feast, and it was amazing. Everything was food that you would actually eat, and it was really great. And that was at the Alberon Midwinter.
Yeah, so the winter reign is a trade-off, right? Because you get to be war queen at Estrella, but it's feast season, which means there's no fighting at all other than war practice.
Yeah, we did a lot of be good at the feast and be good during court, and your reward is war practice the next day. That was the first reign for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So what advice would you give to a first-time crown?
Stay true to you. Don't. Everyone will tell you what they think you need to do or what they think you need to change. And if you change something just to be crowned and then go back to how you were, that was unappealing, if it really is unappealing, then it was all fake. So stay true to you. Maybe mute your personality. I can teach classes on that if need be, but yeah, just you, whether what you do is right or wrong according to someone else, if you're doing what you believe is best for the kingdom, then you're doing the right thing.
What's your favorite Outlands tradition?
I guess I love fighting queens. I don't know that that's a tradition. I love the scalding when they do the scalding.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
I love the baby knight's chain. Mm-hmm. But I think the scalding's my favorite because it reminds you of everyone that was there, everyone that you're sitting there going, oh, I am the queen, and then you're like, oh yeah, and so have 47 other people. It's not. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you that you're not all that. There's a whole bunch of people that have been all that.
So in the scalding, do you get to decide like what you're the queen of, or do they just like assign that?
Oh, I wish, because I would think of like the coolest thing, but no, I don't know who decides that. I don't know who does it, but it's nice. It's nice when you're standing there and you're like, oh, that's a cool one. That's right. Or, you know, it's just, it keeps you grounded. It makes you realize you're not all that special, because all of these people came before you.
So as a winter reign, you got to do a lot of the Queen's prizes, because I believe that alternates, right? If you're a winter reign, you do the Queen's prize. If you're a summer reign, you do Kingdom ANS. Was that your experience?
I don't remember. The first time I remember there was the Queen's Prize and I was still princess, and Maimuna made a condom and I got real shy. But I also remember, I think it might have been, oh, I don't remember, but Maimuna made a condom and then I was just like, okay, I'm done with ANS. Thank you very much. And then this last one in Citadel, again, it was amazing art, but you don't, when you're the queen, you don't have a chance to even give it the attention it deserves.
Yeah.
And when it's called Queen's Prize, like my whole day should have just been talking to the people that brought these things, and so I have a real hard time with that.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be Princess's Prize, and we only have it when we have a princess, and then the princess can spend the whole day just looking at that stuff. Or the King's Prize.
That's honestly, that's been one of the nicest things about doing the virtual stuff, is I got to log in. Oh no, I hear it. Are we echoing though?
I don't know.
Oh dear.
Spooky, huh?
But that was one of the cool things, was because everything was virtual, everything was uploaded, so I got to take my time looking at stuff. And then because I wasn't on anybody's schedule, I got to call all the artisans and talk to them.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so it was really cool, and I learned a lot with amazing artists in our kingdom. So that's certainly,
We have the best artists, absolutely.
we really do. We have the best drums, we have the best dancers, we have the best artists, we have the best food.
Yes.
Right?
Our scribes, like all other kingdoms, wish they had our scribes.
That's a fact. A friend recently moved here and he was like, so tell me about the scribal community. And Lockhawk was very impressed that we do a scroll with every award.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. Just another way we're better than all the other kingdoms.
Better than all the rest by far. Yeah. So tell me about a time when you were at an event and you were like, wow, I really feel like the queen.
I always really felt like the queen. But there was one time, it was the first Estrella. It was the last day of fighting. And Albert wasn't awake yet. And I didn't want to keep him waiting because they said, if you're not here by this certain time, or maybe he was awake, but he wasn't ready yet. And so I went out to the battlefield and there was 4 Outlanders and 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3 people from Kal-bardr on my team and 60 to 90 people on the other side. And the marshal came up to me and he says, so Your Majesty, the sides aren't really even. Do you want to square it up? And I said, okay, but I'm not going to give them more than 3. And Kal-bardr immediately said, don't give them us. And then when the Spartans heard me say that, they switched sides, and all of a sudden we outnumbered Aidenfeld. So that was, I really felt like the queen that day. And then I was really relieved when Alaric and Bolsov showed up too. But I really felt like the queen, and it was awesome because the king wasn't there. And so I got to be the queen of the battlefield. And I mean, he got there right after, but it was definitely my best feeling like the queen day.
Very cool. What was your favorite outfit that was made for you during either reign, or what was your favorite garment? It doesn't have to be a full outfit. You talked earlier about your coat.
Yeah. I got to tell you, my second reign, I got too many amazing outfits. Duchess Anna made me a red and black one that, was my favorite until I got the green and gold one that Aquilina made me. And then I got the one I have on, which I mean, Countess Ingrid, made me one that fits so perfect that I feel perfect when I'm wearing it. And so it's really hard because I didn't get anything that sucked. Where my first reign, I got a whole lot of dresses that were too big for me and too long for me, and they were dresses to top it off. So I felt that this time I knew more what to say I wanted, instead of just saying thank you for the clothes afterwards. I knew to say, look, I'm really not comfortable in that. If you could make this, and I ended up with amazing clothes that I will wear forever. Especially now that I'm going to be a Viking.
And I think that's one of the hardest things, right? Because you're like, man, somebody's put so much time and effort and love into creating a thing. I want to make sure that it's something that I can wear forever and be so like, oh my gosh, this amazing person made this amazing thing for me.
Exactly.
So that you can highlight their talents. And that was something I struggled with was, I know some really amazing late period seamstresses, and I hated to ask for such an early period outfit when I know their specialty is such late period, but they made me some beautiful things that I just really made me feel like a queen. So
right.
I think that sometimes, those gifts are so impactful that you're just like, man, they just really blew me away.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's hard to say thank you enough.
Yeah, for sure. What's your favorite piece of regalia?
Oh, hands down, the brand new knight's belt for the queen.
Right. Do you know who made it?
Oh, Creon made it.
Creon made it.
And then when I was sad because I didn't get to keep it after I was queen, he made me one.
Oh,
okay. You can't see it unless I pull it way up.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It seems weird doing that right now.
Nah, not at all.
So yeah, so he made me one, but that's my favorite piece of regalia for sure.
Very cool.
I'm sure there's other regalia like crowns and stuff.
Yeah, we've got some really, really cool regalia. We've been doing a regalia inventory.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's been cool to see all the different stuff and to see it's basically like a visual history of all the Outlands regalia, which is really cool. Really cool. Let's see. Okay, so tell me about when at Crown Tournament, you said Alric was your fighter, your first fighter?
Uh-huh.
So what went through your head most immediately when he struck that winning blow?
Oh shit. Oh shit. So he was my husband's squire. I mean, as much as a 19-year-old can be a 37-year-old's best friend, he was everything in the game that was fun. And in all fairness, it's because at that point we played it for ourselves because we didn't see the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. So I never thought in a million years the Outlands would let a 19-year-old boy win crown. And evidently they didn't have a choice, and I was shocked. I guess I really never thought he would. And then about 3 rounds in, I was like, oh, right, he's gonna totally win. So I was shocked. I was scared. I didn't. It's not that people weren't there for me, but I had a very small group of people that I knew.
Yeah. And then what went through your head the second time?
Not really the same thing. I knew Rourke had a good chance of winning. I also knew he hadn't practiced in months. So I was more prepared for him to win. And so I wasn't as shocked. But I did think, oh, what have I done? Like, for real. So, but it turned out it was fine.
Yeah, that's such an amazing moment when all those roses are standing around you and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Did they do that during the first tournament that your fighter won for you?
I don't remember that. I remember standing with the queen. I don't remember a bunch of roses there, but that's just also because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that. I remember there was a lot of people, and I still felt really alone. That's what I remember.
Yeah. What's your favorite photo that was taken of you as queen? What were you doing?
I hated all the photos of me, just because I don't like. I mean, in my head, I look way different than I do in pictures. And then when you see a picture, you're like, oh, okay. Let me think. There was a picture of me in my armor with the crown on, and I think it was before a war practice. But it was the first time I'd put my armor on in a long time, just because of the issues I had to deal with. And so it was, even though I hate the way I look in pictures, me having my armor on made me really, really happy. So that's probably my favorite picture. I don't know who took it, though.
Cool. Do you feel like when you're queen and you're sitting, for you in particular, you're sitting in the Pelican circle, you're sitting in the Knight circle, do you feel like you need to guard what you're saying because you are responsible for any changes that are made to those orders? Do you feel like that weighs more heavily on you? How do you feel like being a member of those orders kind of impacts the decisions that you made as queen?
I am never good at staying quiet in those circles. But when I'm queen, if I have a personal issue with someone that I might bring up in a circle, I won't do it as queen. I won't bring up a personal issue, and I won't speak on a candidate who I have a personal issue with.
And is that just mostly out of fear that, in defense of the queen, people will hold a grudge?
People hold a grudge, yeah. Whether you're queen or not, they just are more ass kissing about their grudge holding when you're queen.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to tell when people are being genuine or people are not being maybe as forthright?
I go into it with the assumption that everyone is genuine.
Yeah.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
If they're not genuine, you'll find out. But, always assume everyone means good and not bad.
What's your favorite tournament to watch?
Oh, McBain's Insane Thing tourney. Whatever. I don't know what it's really called. I think that's what it's really called. It is. We had it at the last Battlemore in the dark, but he used to always hold it at Warders, and it was crazy because you didn't know if you were going to have a dagger against a spear or Florentine daggers against a glaive, and it was always the most fun to watch. What are you looking at down there?
My doggy.
Because you're making me look at the floor, and we don't even have the same floor, which seems
No,
weird.
my dog just came up and like snuggled around my feet and then like laid down right in front of me.
I noticed my children have been asking a lot of questions.
I know it's been quiet for almost 30 minutes with the questions.
Wow.
I know, right? Can't even believe it. So I think, I don't know. What else do you want to talk about? It was like 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll tell a fast story.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay, the first time I was queen, they had just got new walls at Estrella for the battle. And I don't know who did it, but some things were painted on the brand new walls. Slaine was painted on there. Iron Ass was painted on there, which is a funny story about not knowing how to spell phenomenal. I mean, from what I hear, anyway. And then on one of the doors, someone went to spray Outlands, and they got the word out, and then there was a big door. So they went to the other side of the door and painted land, and then there was a window. So on the other side of the window, there was an S. So it said Outlands. So we got a big laugh out of that. They of course accused me of spray painting it, and I said, look, I'm really vain, but I am not vain enough to like spray paint Slaine. Like, I'm not going to do that. So we talked about that, and then we went to Gulf Wars, and we get there and they can't find our registration, and I finally said, oh, well, we're the crown of the Outlands, and they pull out this folder and they look at it, and then they take this sticky note off, and they're like, don't tag our castle. I was like, it wasn't. So of course we totally tagged their castle, but we did it with duct tape so it would come right off. And honestly, we put Callantyr, not Outlands, and spelled Callantyr wrong so they know it wasn't really Callantyr. And we used a purple blow-up doll for the O. So yeah, crazy what you find, right?
A purple blow-up doll.
It was a purple blow-up doll, and it might have had 3 breasts also.
Wow.
The O in Callantyr.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I figure after it's been more than 7 years, so I could tell that story.
Yeah, it's like taxes. It's just completely erased after 7.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's been an absolute delight having you on the show today. Thank you for coming on and telling us about your time as queen, your multiple times as queen. I know I thoroughly enjoyed being a member of the populace when you were queen, and like I said, it was a lot of fun. You brought a lot of fun to that office, I guess you could call it, and I really enjoyed your time. So thank you for coming on today and humoring us with some stories and teaching us a little more about Outlands history. So thank you, Slaine. And I wanted to give one shout out really quick. We were talking earlier about amazing artists that make us beautiful clothing. So my dress today is made by the Honorable Lady Cecilia. Yes. And she made this for me for Estrella. And she did a beautiful job. There's beautiful beading. But I just wanted to give her a shout out for her beautiful garment that she made for me. So thank you to the Honorable Lady Cecilia for your amazing artistry and making me feel like a beautiful queen. So thank you, everyone. Join His Majesty in 2 weeks for another amazing interview and another good time in some Outlands history. So thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.